Yeah, you already know what it is. Lethal Talent 24, dive bombing at you with some Eagles content. Let's go. Yo, what up? Man, there's some stuff going out there for the Philadelphia Eagles, man. Like, man, what's going on? What do we already know? We already know that Mike Groh and Carson Walsh has been fired. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a guy that's gonna sit here and, celebrate somebody losing their job. But it was a much needed move to be made. And, but it's all kind of confusing because the press conference, Doug is like, no, they're coming back. They're definitely coming back. But then later on in that same press conference, he starts walking it back. And he's like, well, we're evaluating everyone. And then, the next day or yesterday, they get fired. He sends out a statement basically saying that he should have clarified his answers more and basically just said that, we're evaluating instead of saying, yeah, they're definitely coming back, because he had no idea. So that begged the question of Jeffrey Lurie, whether or not he had a hand in it. And he comes out today and says, no, he didn't have a hand. It was my decision. Whether it was Jeffrey Lurie or Doug's decision, it was a decision that had to be made. It was a much needed decision, and we're all better for it. You know what I mean? Because what do we know about Mike Groh? Mike Groh has had two seasons back to back. We've been 9-7, and in those 2 seasons, both times we've been struggling out the gate. In the first half, we finally get it together. The second half, but in the first half of games, we've been struggling. We don't score points in the first half. Or like the highest we score is 3 points. That's unacceptable. And then we had that 2018 year, and then to have that this year too, we had to battle back. And it's lucky that we had, the NFC East to play against at the end of the season. Not to take away from the wins, of course. We battled through them, especially what we had. And basically, we should not have been favorites in all of those games. But, except the Cowboys games, they were favored in that one. But, basically, we struggled. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't check Doug. 1, he doesn't check Doug. He's a yes guy. 2, he has no commitment to the running game. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't check Doug on some of the calls he's playing or making, and you just sitting there and being like, oh, okay. Well, some of this is going to lay on Doug. Make no mistake about that. But Groh, he just didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? There was no commitment to the run, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, no vertical threat after Deshaun Jackson, was injured. None of that. No shots deep downfield. And there were plenty of opportunities for us to do that. So, that's what we know about Mike Groh. He's just not good. He hasn't gotten anything done. I mean, yes, we made the playoffs 2 seasons, or 3 seasons in a row, actually. But the last 2 seasons with him, but we struggled to get in there. And had it not been for the Minnesota Vikings losing to the Bears last year, we wouldn't have made the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is there. And now, we have to replace him. So, like, who do we replace Groh with, and who do we replace Walsh with? Well, here's the thing. There's names already being thrown out there. My first choice would be Deuce Staley, because he knows the offense. He knows how to motivate guys. He knows the team. You know what I'm saying? He's been with the Philadelphia Eagles for a long time. You know, it's about time for him to make that, time for him to make that jump. If he doesn't make that jump, he may want to walk anyway. You know what I'm saying? Or he could be just comfortable in his own position and, and wants to stay where he's at. I can't imagine he would want to, but he might be comfortable where he's at. He may just love Philadelphia that much, he just wants to stay. But I highly doubt that. You know what I'm saying? You have a career like that, you wanna start elevating yourself. But my second choice would be, as far as offensive coordinator, would be Jim Caldwell. He knows how to work with QBs. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, 2 different teams. One with Peyton Manning, one with Joe Flacco and the Baltimore Ravens. He knows how to work with quarterbacks. He knows how to move the ball, not just, and he does take vertical shots now and then. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people are worried about the vertical threat. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just rely on that. You have to be able to move the ball. Moving the ball is the most important thing, and Carson Wentz has proven that he can do that. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to take deep shots, and I don't know the analytics on it, but, I'm pretty sure the amount of deep shots that teams do call is very low. I won't say very low, but is low. So, but once we start getting, somebody that can come in, Jim Caldwell, actually, he's one person that does like the run game as well. So that's good. Run game keeps pressure off of Carson Wentz. We establish a run game, we set up the play action, and that's how we attack guys. Especially if we get these wide receivers in here, some speedy wide receivers in here. Then third is Pat Shurmur. He's been with us before as offensive coordinator in the Chip Kelly era. Just a name out there. And then you got Norv Turner, who knows how to work with QBs. He was an offensive coordinator in the Carolina. So when, he implemented a lot of stuff for Cam Newton. And Cam Newton, for the most part, was able to, he was able to call stuff for Cam Newton that worked to his strengths, so he can work with Carson. Mike McCoy, he's worked with the Philadelphia Eagles. He was once known as a quarterback guru. Had a job with the Broncos as an OC. He won a playoff game with Tim Tebow, and he was also head coach of the Chargers. He failed there. Last place he was at was Arizona, where he was offensive coordinator, and they only lasted a year. But he's just a name out there. Marty Morningwig, Mike Kafka, worked with the Philadelphia Eagles as well. Used to be a quarterback for us. He's over there in Kansas City. So those are just the names out there right now. Kevin O'Donnell is also one of them. Those are the names out there right now. So, they might be looking into that. And then, so those are your candidates for offensive coordinator. Now, wide receivers coach, you got Sanjay Lal. He was released by the Cowboys. You also got Chad O'Shea. He worked with Miami Dolphins. He was the offensive coordinator there. Ike Hilliard, he was the wide receiver coach of the Washington Redskins. So, he was released from there. So we do have our options out there. Not only as a quarterback coach, and I'll get to that in a second, but Josh McCown, I think, could be a pretty good or decent replacement for as a wide receiver coach. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I would also hire him as a QB coach, but I'm going to go over that in a second. Now, let's see. So, yeah, we got our wide receivers coach right there. And, I guess an honorable mention, if I had to just pick out a name, would be Chris Carter. If he has the coaching abilities, then bring him in here and see what he could do. Have an interview for him and see what he can bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? Now, the QB coach, Press Taylor. I don't think they're going to try to promote him to OC, but I really don't think that he should. I think they should replace him. I think that he's the NBC Sports analyst out there has stated that, they're in the building. They're around these guys, so they know. But they have stated that basically, he's too buddy to Carson Wentz, and it seems like he doesn't just hold him accountable. like DiFilippo and Frank Wright did. They were really, hitting it home to him. As a QB, you need to be focusing on your fundamentals. You know what I'm saying? So his mechanics and all that stuff, if he's not pushing Carson to a point where he's like, beating his stuff into his head, then he needs to be replaced. You know what I'm saying? He's got to be replaced if that's the case. You know what I'm saying? Because these guys have to, it's all about accountability. You have to, Carson Wentz at certain times when he made throws, especially in the Seahawks game when he was trying to hit Sanders, and the ball just sailed over him, or, I know his weather was a factor in that game, but just the other games where he was just throwing the ball low, those are bad mechanics, and those are just screenplays. A lot of overthrows, those are bad mechanics. He gets, sometimes he gets a little, I'd not say panicky, but, he gets happy feet sometimes, and, his mechanics are off. And then he starts missing guys. So you need somebody that can hold him accountable, and Josh McCown, I think, can do that if he wants to. But that was just my replacement for him. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. That's all I got to say about, everything else that's gone on. But Howie Roseman's he's gotta hit it in the draft. And the way he came out and spoke at the press conference seemed like Jeffrey Lurie had dug into him a little bit, and he knows that he failed. You know what I'm saying? With J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and not getting DK Metcalf, and they go by these little analytics and stuff, and it's like, if everybody's telling you this person is good and nobody's heard of J.J. Arcega-Whiteside outside of, like, the people at Stanford, everybody was saying, like, talking about DK Metcalf. That is somebody you go and get. And I heard that he might have failed a physical with us, but that doesn't mean a damn thing to me, considering the fact that you drafted Sidney Jones with his torn Achilles. I'm pretty sure he didn't pass a physical for you right then and there. So if that's the case, that's BS. But, Howie's got to do a good job. If he doesn't nail, I think we need at least 6 impact players in all these positions: wide receivers, cornerback, linebacker. I still think we need an offensive lineman, a left guard, really, to basically replace Seumalo, or just, and make them compete. Make Seumalo compete. We're going to need more offensive linemen, considering the fact that we're most likely going to lose Big B. You know what I'm saying? So, whatever happens, I know Mailata, we can have him as a swing tackle, but still, he is unproven, and I'd rather have somebody that's played the game, for a minute than somebody who is just transitioning. So, it's gonna be interesting off season. We'll see what's going on and what have you. But the sky's the limit for us, man. We just got to make sure we hit 6 impact players out of 10 picks, depending on what Howie does with those picks before the draft. If we get somebody via trade, but if we still have 10 picks going into the draft, we need to hit at least 6 of them. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, guys, that's all I got to say. Go Birds. EAGLES, Eagles. And that's what's up. You guys take it easy. Peace.